So my name is Stacey Briscoe. I'm a wine journalist and editor, and I am the editorial consultant for Wine Industry Network. Today, we're talking about a new wine innovation and technology conference coming to the US for the first time this year called Enoforum. And it's touted as the European wine industry's largest technical scientific conference. And this year, the two-day conference will be held on May 5th and 6th, 2021 at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds. And to tell us more about the event and its program, we have the Enoforum creator and president of Vinidea, Gianni Trioli. And so, hi, Gianni. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Stacey.
I was just hoping that maybe you could start with a little bit about your background and the creation of Enoforum and how it became the largest technology conference in the EU and I've heard elsewhere.
Thank you, Stacey. Enoforum started 20 years ago now, in 2000, actually, as a very small, more a meeting than a congress. It was an experiment at the beginning, trying to join the same room, to put in the same room, the same environment, both the researchers, of course, but also the suppliers and, of course, the wine producers, so winemakers especially. And the beginning was thought like a forum, actually. It's a way to communicate and to interact. And it worked, and little by little it grew up. And the last edition we have in Italy in 2019, unfortunately, because later on we had to stop the in-presence conferences. Mm-hmm. We reached 1,200 participants in the 3 days of Congress. That is actually a record in terms of number of participants and number of presentations, so amount of content. We have more than 120 different talks during the meeting. And so it grew up little by little by itself. And I think the reason for that is that it's the only place, the only opportunity, to say, where actually these three, what I call the three pillars of innovation, meet together and really talk each other and exchange and get content and make program together. And I'm talking again about the research because that's, of course, is an absolutely need to do something new, but also the suppliers who are often funding most of this research, which goes to practice, otherwise it stays into the the labs, and which is not so useful for the industry. And even more important, the innovative winemakers or the pioneers. So all these people who are working every day, but they are spending some time trying to implement in their daily work the new technologies, and often they are a great help to really adapt them to make it very efficient. So when these three category of people, they work together, we have great innovation and through innovation, which means something new which goes into practice, not just a research which is published on a paper. So that's a little bit the story.
Mm-hmm. And so just to kind of reiterate, we have researchers or scientific experts who are looking into new innovations for the wine industry. We have the suppliers and the vendors who actually provide products that, or create the products that help with these innovations. And then we have the producers, whether they are growers or winemakers, who are trialing these products and these new innovations. So can you tell us a little bit about what kind of sessions are offered? I know you said there's like over 120, I think you said, sessions available. So what are the different courses that people can take, or the different experiences that people can participate in when they attend Enoforum?
Okay. Yeah, so for what concerns practitioners, they actually, the idea of Enoforum is that they have in 2 days, 3 days, depending on the event program, they have, let's say, more or less everything new is coming for the industry in the last couple of years. and they can choose because everyone has his own needs and his own interest. So we offer, like in Italy, we have 2 conference rooms, 1 tasting room, 1 demonstration room running at the same time. Meanwhile, we have a stand, we have a desk, we have so many different posters. So people organize their day. It's not a fixed program which is obliged for everyone, but everyone has let's say a lot of different opportunities, and they choose their own program, trying to get from the short time they have available the maximum they can. And the good thing in Enoforum is that you can have different levels of knowledge. So you can read a poster and just to have an idea of what happened, like a summary. But also you can, or maybe even on the same technology, go and listen for a specific session on that technology, or to go and asking specific question into the stand to the expert. So you can, if you find something which is useful, and usually you always find something useful, you can really deepen it and come out from Enoforum ready to apply, implement it in your production.
Mm-hmm. And I know the event isn't until May, it's January, we'll just turn February now. So do we have an idea of what kind of sessions will be presented this year? Or are you still working on the programming?
Yeah, no, we are still working on programming because it's going on, but there are actually 2 main blocks of knowledge which is brought there. One part is coming from the vendors and the suppliers because they have been invited to present the new technology, bringing researchers, independent researchers into their session, and including their expert to explain how to use in practice this. So that's a big part of the Congress. Another similar or even bigger maybe part of the Congress are researchers which have been selected with a specific procedure that we are using since now many years. We have a contest, actually. We launch a contest worldwide. This year we had, for example, more than 100 abstracts coming. We had a scientific committee of 85 people worldwide who were selecting them. And now on February 23 to 25th, we have a web conference where all 43 of these new works, research work, will be presented in a pitch. And the winemaker will choose, will vote on them. Will vote on the basis of how useful they feel can be for the production, how relevant they can be. So at the end of this process, and that will be beginning of March, we will have a ranking of so many potential work, and we will choose from them those which have been considered the most, let's say, easy to implement or most relevant for the production. So it's a little complicated, but it's more complicated to explain than to do. The end of the story is that we will have probably 20 different talks from public researchers, not suppliers in this case, that will be selected among the most innovative work worldwide, research work worldwide. So that's also a big part of the value of the content that we can propose.
Right. I was just going to say that I think one of the most interesting things that that you've talked about so far is the fact that when vendors or suppliers are promoting or not promoting, but presenting their product, I should probably say, they're bringing researchers outside of their business to present what they found with those innovations and with those products. And similarly, the researchers who are coming to speak on their specific topic, they're then chosen by winemakers who are deciding, or producers or growers, whatever the topic may be, who are deciding what the most innovative and important topics are from their point of view. So it really is a collaboration of, you called them 3 pillars, as opposed to a real promotion or PR pitch from a certain company. It's more about how these 3 pillars come together in the wine industry, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's correct. Meaning that, of course, the companies, the vendors, their final goal is to sell something.
Sure.
I mean, we are in the real world. We are not in the theoretical. I've been working for more than 10 years for a vendor when I was much younger. So I really understand which are the goals of this, but we have to recognize that a lot of work, a lot of very serious work is done by vendors to bring an idea or maybe a research finding into the winery. There is a lot of work to be done. I mean, to develop a machine or to develop a product, to distribute them, to package that in the right way, to see how to use in different conditions, a lot of work. And that work is really needed for you, winemaker, if you want to use that technology. Because when something is published on a scientific paper, even if it is a fantastic research, there is nothing you can really use. So we do recognize let's say, the importance and the dignity of this bunch of work, which is development, which is research and development. And without that, we will never have an innovation going into the practice. So, and we give space into Enoforum to suppliers to explain what they have done and all the little details how to use. And that's probably one of the peculiar things of Enoforum, because usually in the scientific congress, the vendors cannot explain that part of development work. In the fairs, they don't have, in the trade show, they don't really have environment to speak with so many people and to explain and a certain level. So that's why probably Enoforum is becoming like something which has an increasing interest for practitioners, because they can really hear the scientific thing, hear how it can be applied, what has been done, and what are the risks also for applying a new technology or the limits, and really come back not with just some more theory or cultural advance, but with something they can really use the day after.
So for our winemakers and producers who may be watching and learning about Enoforum for the first time, is there anything that you want to say about this being the first event for the U.S.? You know, we do have several. We just had Unified a couple of weeks ago, and we have several conferences throughout the year where people attend regularly. So maybe you could just speak about what this would bring to the U.S. industry, since this is new for us.
Sure. You had great congress. I was telling you, in my story, I was studying in Davis. I've been in touch with so many researchers in the US, and I've been attending Unified, for example, for many times. Great event, and absolutely, we are not competing, or we are not coming as an alternative to this, not at all. I think what we can bring differently from these events is maybe a more exhaustive overview of the European or non-US research and development, because most of our talks are coming from European researchers, or South African, Australian also. We have so something which is coming from outside that maybe people in US don't have so many chances to hear. And also maybe this part of the company point of view, because again, in your events are very scientific, some of them, or more a trade show style, and maybe it's not so easy to hear into details all this application, let's say, knowledge that you can find in Enoforum. And then again, we have also the formula, because we have a tasting, we have a demo, we have so many things going around at the same time. So you really can optimize the use of your time, which is always a limiting factor for people. We don't have so much. So in 2 days, you can really have a lot of things around you.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about this a little bit before, but maybe you can just talk about as well. It seems like there's so much to learn and so much to do with this event. Do you find that it's better catered towards larger wine businesses, smaller wine businesses, or everybody in between?
Everybody who is looking for doing better and doing something new, because again, it, of course, is a public relation event. You have a lot of social activity. Meanwhile, you meet a friend and so on. But again, if you really appreciate Enoforum, if you are an innovative person somehow, and someone who want to make even better what has been done, and here you can find the very good the valuable information. So it doesn't depend on your side, depends on your attitude more. So you may have even boutique winery owner or winemaker who might be very interested and very, very happy. And of course, if you are in a big group, you will for sure see and hear something that will be applicable into your realities. So I think it's really a transversal offer.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Gianni, for taking the time to talk to us today about Enoforum. I'm excited for it. I'm going to go. I'm excited for it. So hopefully it's as amazing as you've made it sound. So just as a reminder for people that are watching, Enoforum will be held at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds May 5th and 6th. This is the first U.S. showing of this event, so it should be pretty exciting. And if anybody wants more information, there is a website folks can go to at Enoforum, that's ENO, forumusa.com. All right, thank you, Gianni.
Thank you, Stacy.